Alright, hello everyone and welcome to WWE Discussion. I'm your host and WWE enthusiast Dougie Doug. In today's episode I'm going to be discussing Monday Night Raw, October 16, 2023 edition. And this was the season premiere of Monday Night Raw, featuring a packed show carried by some of the company's best television wrestling in months. You had Gunther versus Big Bronson Reed for the Intercontinental title. Sami Zayn making an appearance for the first time in months without Kevin Owens by his side. Finn Balor and Damian Priest would regain the tag team titles. Jade Cargo would return to action. And Jade Cargo would make another appearance on WWE television before it was announced that she would officially join the Raw roster. So this show was an exciting one, relying upon the great efforts of the talent who continue to elevate the Red brand with each performance. And with that, we'll go and get right into the action, starting with Sami Zayn. So the question was Zayn. Now that he is all on his own and he is calling a shot for a world title match, will he be able to win a world title before WrestleMania 40? So Zayn has waited a long time for his opportunity in the spotlight. He was the hottest good guy in the company in 2022 due to his work with the Bloodline. And when it came time for him to have that world title, that Universal title match against Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber, unfortunately, it was not his time to win the title. Now without Kevin Owens, Zayn will be getting a singles run, and he deserves it. He's already held the Intercontinental title, so it's smart that he issued that the focus is kind of shifted or more towards him capturing the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins versus Zayn, intriguing matchup, but it might not have as much weight as Zayn challenging the guy who dethrones the Visionary, simply because Zayn is still one of the top popular good guys and would be better served fighting a bad guy character like Drew McIntyre, who's facing Rollins at Crown Jewel. The story's already begun to build with those two. They have a match scheduled next week. Damian Priest could also be an option if he cashes in and dethrones Rollins. But no matter who Zayn ends up facing for the title, he's earned the opportunity, and he's earned it over 10 years with WWE, consistently over-delivering in important moments. Johnny Gargano and Candace. So two people not on television enough, or when they are on television not being utilized enough. And with the return of Johnny Gargano to in-ring action, and even Candace making more appearances backstage, it seems like WWE has given itself one more chance to try and commit. It sets up one more chance for WWE to try and commit to these two. So Gargano returned to in-ring action and recorded another loss on his record. But to be fair, if you want to put an asterisk next to it, it only happened because of interference. One defeat won't destroy his credibility. However, it's become a trend that Johnny Wrestling can now win on television, and that should be changed quickly. Moreover, he needs to keep getting spotlight matches where he can show what he can do in the ring. Gargano still has the ability to put on great matches, in case anybody was questioning that. I don't think anybody was, but just in case. But the crowd doesn't seem to be as excited for him as it was a couple years back in NXT. He needs a chance to win the fans over, or win them back. Candace LeRae finds herself in a similar position. She has lost her momentum since returning to WWE and doesn't really look like a serious threat in the ring to anybody. However, she can still go in the ring, and perhaps Becky Lynch and perhaps we might get to see her step back in the ring against Becky Lynch, which would be a great test and a great showcase for the Poison Pixie. Gargano might also be set up for a similar opportunity, going one-on-one with Gunther. If WWE fails to let both of them show what they can do soon, they might just end up being regulated to background acts on Raw, which would be a shame and a waste of their talent. Jade Cargo made an appearance here on Raw and is now a part of the Raw roster, as I mentioned at the top. And Jade Cargo is going to be in title contention. Unlikely that it's right away. However, until that time, she must be protected. And give credit to WWE. It's taken its time integrating Jade onto the roster and on TV. She's made an appearance on every show in the previous week, being showcased as a featured star, choosing her brand. Deciding upon Raw gives her a clear direction for the future. She can build herself up until she can challenge either Becky Lynch or Rhea Ripley. One of the crucial parts of Cargill's presentation in AEW was as a dominant force. She won her first 60 matches in the company, including capturing the TBS Championship. Even if WWE is not looking to replicate that kind of undefeated streak, it must protect her as a rising star. She's a rare woman who, at the moment, having not competed in a WWE ring, looks like she could beat anybody. That can only happen with the right build. It may take time for her to work at the level of some of the top women in WWE, but there's no doubt that she can get there as she progresses further in training, top level experience, and consistent presentation. Gunther, man, what an Intercontinental Champion this guy is. What a defense he had against Bronson Reed, and his impressive title reign continues on, although Chad Gable is still lurking around in the background somewhere thinking he's getting another shot. Probably is, but that's not immediate. But back to Gunther, who has been the highlight of Raw for a while. His recent streak, but if you look at his recent streak of matches, it looks like he's just on another level. His latest defense against Big Bronson Reed might have been his most impressive yet. And while Reed is talented, he has not had a contest anywhere near this in WWE to date. Gunther brought out the best in him in what is a career-defining match for Reed. Even if he lost it, he left the match as a bigger star than he was coming in. And when you think about Gunther, not only is his title reign impressive, not only is his in-ring work great, but he has consistently built up talent with every performance. He is proof of the impact of in-ring action in professional wrestling. Really, there is no limit to the heights Gunther will reach in WWE. You just know when that Intercontinental title run is over, he's going to go right into a world title reign, and he's going to be a world champion someday. You just know that's going to happen. It's going to be magnificent. And then the tag team titles. So, hot potato with titles in general, it's always a bad idea. It really shouldn't happen. You should only put titles on people that you can commit to a long-term run. If you have a long-term plan for this person as champion, then you put the title on this person. If you don't have a long-term plan, don't bother. It's like putting the NXT North American Championship on Trick Williams. There was no reason to do that because he just ended up dropping the title in his first defense. Same thing with putting the tag titles on Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. There was no long-term plan there, and they just dropped the titles. I think that was their first defense. Yeah, I think that was not their first title defense. Either way, they did not have a very long reign. They dropped those titles in short order. No plan, no reason for them to win them in the first place. So with the Judgment Day now holding the tag titles once again, they control WWE. They have controlled WWE more than the Bloodline ever did. It seems like the group defines nearly every single Raw main event and is back to holding all of the gold. Even when the company teases moving beyond the faction, the story always pivots back. In the past 2 weeks, Mysterio, Balor, and Priest have all won back titles they lost a week prior. The tag titles have changed hands far too often. Balor and Priest were the ones who ended the reign of Zayn and Owens at Payback on September 2nd, only to lose them to Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso at Fastlane 5 weeks later. Now, just 8 days on, Balor and Priest have reclaimed the gold, leaving everything back where it was at the start of September. Each title change devalues the belts more without developing the key stories on Raw. The Judgment Day remain on top and could just lose the titles again to whoever challenges them next, and that would make the tag titles not feel important, which would be a waste of a talented roster and a talented division. The way to get back on track would be for an established team like the Viking Raiders to dethrone the Judgment Day and move on. So in conclusion, the season premiere of Raw saw the introduction of Sami Zayn to the Cody Rhodes Jey Uso Judgment Day story, featured Jimmy Uso interfering in the main event and bringing about new tag team champions, and highlighting a loaded women's division for the first time in some time. Throwing a physical match between Gunther and Bronson Reed and a show that delivered where it had to, and introduced enough interesting story threads to get fans to tune in moving forward. A strong show on a night with stiff competition in the form of MLB, postseason action, and Monday Night Football. And with that will conclude this episode of WWE Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like button down below.